ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم. لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون. وإن نشاء نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين. وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا ونطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون. فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون. إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون. هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون. لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون. سلام قولا من رب رحيم. وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون. ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. ولقد أزلنا منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون. هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون. ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين. لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون. وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون. ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون. واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون. لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد سورة الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بار دیگر صلوات
آگے آگے تشریف لائیے برائے مہربانی
صلوات پر محمد و آل محمد شدت پیاس سے اکبر نے پلٹ کر دیکھا شدت پیاس سے اکبر نے پلٹ کر دیکھا مانق موت لپٹ کر دیکھا اتنی بے چین ہوئی ساقی کوثر کی بہو اتنی بے چین ہوئی ساقی کوثر کی بہو خالی کوزے کو کئی بار الٹ کر دیکھا خالی کوزے کو کئی بار الٹ کر دیکھا شدت پیاس سے اکبر نے سلام
صلوات محمد و آل محمد
آب رواں کا تار نفس ٹوٹتا رہا آب رواں کا تار نفس ٹوٹتا رہا دریا پہ مطمئن کوئی پیاسا کھڑا رہا چلو میں آب لب پہ وقار وفا رہا غربت کے باوجود بڑا فاصلہ رہا اور چلو میں بھر کے آب جو پھینکا دلیر نے چلو میں لے کے آب جو پھینکا دلیر نے دریا اسی میں دیر تلک ڈوبتا رہا دریا اسی میں دیر تلک ڈوبتا رہا اور مشکیزہ بھر کے پلٹا ہے جب سے علی کا شیر مشکیزہ بھر کے پلٹا ہے جب سے علی کا شیر دریا ہی جانتا ہے کہ دریا میں کیا رہا دریا ہی جانتا ہے کہ دریا میں کیا رہا آب رواں کا تار نفس
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
مؤمنین باواز بلند صلوات مجرئی شاہ نے کہا لاش پر آنا زینب مجرئی شاہ نے کہا لاش پر آنا زینب پھر ذرا ساتھ سکینہ کو بھی لانا زینب لاش عباس سے ہر دم یہی آتی تھی صدا گر ملے پانی تو سکینہ کو پلانا زینب گر ملے پانی تو سکینہ کو پلانا زینب مجرئی شاہ نے
جب ابن ابو تراب بروئے زمیں گرا بے دست ہو کے خاک پر وہ مہجبیں گرا اور ہاتھ ایک طرف علم شائقیں گرا چلائی فاطمہ کا میرا ناز نے چلائی فاطمہ کے میرا ناز نے کٹتا ہے کوئی دم میں سر اس نوجوان کا مٹتا ہے اب نشان علی کے نشان مٹتا ہے اب نشان علی کے نشان سنتے ہی صدا کے شہنشاہ بحر و بر دوڑے گرے اٹھے نہ سنبھالا گیا جگر کانپے جو پاؤں تھام لیا بازوئے پسر چلاتے تھے کہو علی اکبر چلے چلاتے تھے کہو علی اکبر چلے مجمع ہٹاؤ فوجے ستم کا ترائی سے بیٹا ملا دو جلد مجھے میرے بیٹا ملا دو جلد مجھے میرے اکبر اجڑ گیا میرا گھروا مصیبت اکبر اجڑ گیا میرا بروا مصیبت سیدھی نہ ہوگی اب یہ کمر کا اکبر اجڑ گیا میرا گھروا مصیبتا سیدھی نہ ہوگی اب یہ کمر و مصیبتا ہے آتا داغے پدر و مصیبتا کاٹا گیا چھری سے جگر و مصیبتا کاٹا گیا چھری سے جگر و مصیبتا پرسا تو دو نجف کی طرف منہ کو موڑ دو سر پیٹتا چلوں گا میرے ہاتھ چھوڑ سر پیٹتا چلوں گا میرے ہاتھ چھوڑ اکبر قریب لاجو لائے حسین کو عباس جاں بلم نظر آئے حسین کو تڑپا وہ شیر سن کے صدائے حسین کو اکبر نے ہاتھ اٹھا کے دکھائے حسین اکبر نے ہاتھ اٹھا کے دکھائے حسین دو کوئے غم کے دل پہ جو ایک بار گر پڑے پہلو میں لاش کے شہ ابرار گر پہلو میں لاش کے شہ ابرار گر وہ بھائی تمہاری بالی سکینہ جگر فغار بچوں سے کہہ رہی ہے یہ بات چشم اشک بار ایک لفظ اور صبر کرو تم پہ میں نثار دیکھوں گی جہاں بلب ہے میرا بائش دیکھوں گی جہاں بلب ہے میرا بائش پیاسی ہوں میں بھی 3 دنوں 3 رات سے اب پانی لاتے ہوئیں گے امو فرات اب پانی لاتے ہوئیں گے امو فرات ہے کچھ وصیتیں میری اس وقت یا امام ان میں سے ایک یہ ہے کہ تصدق جب غلام ساحل سے لاش اٹھ کے نہ جائے سوئے خیام جس جا پڑاؤں خبر کا بھی ہوئے جس جا پڑاؤں خبر کا بھی ہوئے سر کے نخانہ زادے امام دلیر کا مسکن رہے ترائی میں حیدر کے شیر مسکن رہے ترائی میں حیدر کے شیر اور دوسری یہ عرض ہے اے عشق شاہ خان شہزادیاں محل سے نہ نکلے کشادہ ماں دیکھے نہ آ کے بالی سکینہ میرا لہو اور مرتے مرتے دل کیا اور ایک مرتے مرتے دل کیا آئے لحد میں بوئے امام زمان مجھے بخشے حضور اپنی ابا کا کفن، بخشے حضور اپنی ابا کا کفن مجھے، سر پیٹ کر یہ کہنے لگے شاہ بحر و بر، عباس ٹکڑے کرتے ہو کیوں بھائی کا جگر، اچھا نہ لاش اٹھائیں گے یہ نوگر، تربت بنے گی آپ کے بے شبن، تربت بنے گی آپ کی یہ شبن، سچ ہے کہ بہر شیر ترائی ضرور ہے بھائی مگر تمہاری لہد ہم سے دور، بھائی مگر تمہاری لہد ہم سے دور ہے، یہ سن کے پائے شاہ کی جانب جھکایا سر، کانپے لہو بھری ہوئی آنکھوں کو کھول کر، ٹک ٹپ ٹپ کے مزاح سے خون کے خطرے ادھر ادھر، کس آہ سے حسین پہ کی آخری، کس آہ سے حسین پہ کی آخری، من کا جری کا ڈھل گیا بھائی کے سامنے، بھائی کا دم نکل گیا بھائی کے سامنے، بھائی کا دم نکل گیا بھائی کے سامنے،
صلوات۔ پہنچے یہ نظمیاں شہ ذیشاں کے سامنے، جس طرح پائے ماں سلیمان، جس طرح پائے ماں سلیمان کے سامنے، ہر دم سکینہ لاتی تھی تسکین کے واسطے، خالق کٹورے اصغر نادان، خالق کٹورے اصغر نادان کے سامنے، رو کر بہن سے کہتے تھے حضرت یہ روز اب ذبح ہوں گے عصر کو، ہم ذبح ہوں گے عصر کو، اماں کے سامنے، ذبح حلال میں تو یہ حکم رسول ہو، حیوان کا خوب بہاونا، حیوان کے سامنے واہ حسرت کے فاطمہ، سر پیٹتی رہے پیاسے حسین ذبح ہوئے ماں، پیاسے حسین ذبح ہوئے ماں کے سامنے، نیچے سر حسین ہو اور تخت پر یزید پھیلائے پاؤں بیٹھا ہو، پھیلائے پاؤں بیٹھا ہو، قرآن کے سامنے پہنچے یہ نظمیاں صلوات۔ جب قتل کیا نہر پہ سقائے حرم کو، بھائی کا دیا داغ شہنشاہ امام کو، پانی نہ دیا پیاس میں اس بحر کرم کو، تھا شور کے اب خوف کسی کا نہیں ہم کو، تھا شور کے اب خوف کسی کا نہیں ہم کو، غازی کو جگر بندے यदुल्लाह को मारा,
अब्बास को क्या कत्ल किया, शाह को मारा,
अब्बास को क्या
कत्ल किया, शाह को मारा।
आदात तो ये कहते थे, शहीदी का था ये हाल, तर आंसुओं से होता था रुमाल पर रुमाल। फरमाते थे क्या हो गए अब्बास से खुश इकबाल, दुनिया में नहीं जीने का
फातिमा का लाल,
दुनिया में नहीं जीने
का फातिमा का लाल।
बिन भाई बसर होगी ना एक आन हमारे, अब्बास के
मातम में गई जान हमारे,
बे अब्बास के मातम
में गई जान हमारी।
बेकस हुए आप कोई नहीं हमदर्द यावार, पाएंगे कहाँ ऐसा वफादार बिरादर। पर आए कहीं आ जुबे सिप्ते पैगंबर, जल्दी मेरे गर्दन पे चले जुल्म का खंजर, जल्दी मेरे गर्दन पे
चले जुल्म का खंजर।
दुश्मन पे भी ये आलमे तन्हाई ना होए, जीने का मजा खा
के जब भाई ना होए,
जीने का मजा खा
के जब भाई ना होए।
ये कहे के तड़पने लगे सुल्तान दो आलम, बरपा था अजब खैमे शब्बीर में मातम। चिल्लाती थी ज़ैनब के जिगर फटता है इस दम, भाई के अलम में न जिएंगे भाई के अलम में
न जिएंगे शेखरा।
अंधेर जहां है जो अलमदार नहीं है, कोई मेरे भाई
का मददगार नहीं,
कोई मेरे भाभी
का मददगार नहीं है।
समझा के उसे रन को चले जब शह अबरार, दौड़ी अखब शाह सकीना जिगर अफकार। चिल्लाई के बाबा मुझे यहाँ छोड़ो न जिन्हार, दिखला दो मुझे लाश अब्बास
अलमदार,
दिखला दो मुझे
लाश अब्बास अलमदार।
पानी न मिला मर गए वो खूह में नहा कर, मैं रोंगी अब लाश
अब्बास पे जाकर,
मैं रोंगी अब
लाश अब्बास पे जाकर।
आखिर उसे दरिया की तरफ ले के चले शाह, यूं कहने लगे फौज से बढ़कर गए गुमराह। क्या कस्द है जाते हो किधर ऐ शहजी जा, दरिया पे वो मारे गए
थे जिनकी तुम्हें चाह,
दरिया पे वो मारे
गए थे जिनकी तुम्हें चाह।
पानी के लिए लाख जवानों से लड़े हैं और हाथ कटाए
हुए रेती पे पड़े हैं,
और हाथ कटाए
हुए रेती पे पड़े हैं।
नागा नजर आया उन्हें लाश अब्बास, चिल्ला के कहा हाय हम अब हो गए बेआस, पहुंचेंगे ना हम तुम तक यही था भाई को विश्वास। अब कौन बुझाएगा सकीना की भला प्यास, अब कौन बुझाएगा
सकीना की भला प्यास।
हाथों के तसद्दुख ने सदे पाश के सदके, ऐ जाने बरादर में तेरी
लाश के सदके,
ऐ जाने बरादर
में तेरी लाश के सदके।
आँखों को जरा खोलो तो कुर्बान हो भाई, खैमे से सकीना तुम्हें लेने को है आई। क्यों रेत पे ये चांद सी सूरत है छिपाए, सर पीट के दब कहने लगी शाह
की जाए,
सर पीट के दब कहने
लगी शाह की जाए।
है मुझे सूरत نہیں دکھلاتے ہیں آمو میں پیاسے رہے اس لیے
شرماتے ہیں امو
میں پیاسے رہے
اس لیے شرماتے ہیں امو
یہ سن کے تڑپنے لگا عباس کا دلدار چلایا کہ اب ہو گئے ہم بے کس و ناچار ہم جیتے رہے قتل ہوا شاہ کا غم خار تا حشر نہ اب دیکھیں گے ہم باپ کا دیدار تا حشر نہ اب دیکھیں گے ہم باپ کا دیدار اس عمر میں کیا ظلم و ستم ہو گئے ہیں فریاد کے بن باپ کے ہم ہو گئے فریاد کے بن باپ کے ہم ہو گئے فریاد کے بن باپ کے ہم ہو گئے ہیں
پر محمد وآل محمد باز بلند صلوات. سب سے پہلے تو آپ حضرات سے گزارش ہے کہ برائے مہربانی جتنا آگے تشریف لا سکتے آئیے. Could you all please move a little forward? As you know, a lot of people are coming from behind. As much as you can, please. There's a lot of space here. Please move forward. انشاءاللہ النور میں مجلسوں کا سلسلہ 12 محرم تک جاری و ساری رہے گا. Majlis in Al-Noor Center will be inshallah conducted until the end of 12th of Muharram. And just for your information, if you like to help Al-Noor Center by in any way which you can by contributing towards one, then let me inform you that we have also got the ijaza from all the maraji to receive khums for the progress of Al-Noor Center here. There are a lot of activities happening. For example, a weekly Quran Academy is being under process here where children of all age from 4 to 18 are taking part learning Quran from the scholars. Plus, we also have Arabic classes here going on every week on weekly basis. If anybody interested in enrolling yourself or your kids for the Quran Academy or for the Arabic classes, you can kindly contact any of the organizing member team, any of the team member here. اور پھر سے ایک مرتبہ آئی تھنک تھوڑے سے پیچھے لوگ جگہ ہیں تو اور آگے آ سکتے ہیں برائے مہربانی تاکہ بعد میں آپ کو پھر کبھی زحمت نہ دوں انشاءاللہ. I'd like to now request Sayyid Abbas Farshuri to please come for tonight's lecture. But Muhammad wa ala Muhammad ba'az bulan sab.
وآل محمد. فاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا حبيبه العالي العالمين أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على القوم الظالمين من الأولين والآخرين. أما بعد. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة لكل مؤمن ومؤمنات. غریب مظلوم کربلائے فيا ليتني يا ليتني كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah, we have some new faces, so I'll get us up to speed with regards to this current series. For those of you who are coming for the first time, or maybe have been coming and going, we have set ourselves a task for these 10 days of Muharram, a task which we are all in together, which is we want to understand what is Imam Hussein's plan for global unity. That's our challenge we've set for ourselves, which we need each other for. It's a difficult task, but we can do it, inshallah. And we agreed in the first few nights to devote ourselves to understanding Aba Abdullah and the unity of the self. That's our focus. How does Imam Hussain make me at one with my Lord? Okay. Yesterday, we said, okay, we've discussed Hussain and the self. Now we discuss Hussain and community, and society and ummah. And once we understand how Aba Abdullah can unify our ummah, we can then understand how he can unify every ummah. In yesterday's discussion, we introduced this idea of the community. Inshallah, to get us all up to speed, I'll mention one narration of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This narration, which I mentioned yesterday too, really summarizes everything we did yesterday. So those who missed yesterday, it's okay, you're in luck. The Holy Prophet says, your situation is like you are all aboard one ship. Remember we mentioned this yesterday? One ship. And this ship is cruising through the ocean, but the waves are tearing it apart from the outside. And everyone in this ship has their own designated seat. Everyone. Now if one person in this ship takes their own seat and starts to dig a hole with a sharp tool on their own seat, then everyone must stop them to stop them from drowning themselves and to stop themselves from drowning. The Holy Prophet says this. This is the ummah. One ship, everyone in it going in one direction. And that thing which helps each other to stay aboard this ship is Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahi anil Munkar. Enjoining good, forbidding evil. For as long as that is there, this ship will remain steady and go in the same direction. And everyone must be caring for everyone else in this ship, yeah? We discussed yesterday, individuals unite for different reasons, but they unite for one goal in this ship, in this ummah. The ummah of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's yesterday's lecture. Okay, alhamdulillah. Yesterday, I say it as if it was nothing, one sentence, and that was the whole lecture. Yesterday we agreed that you need common goals to come together in a community. You need something which you all share. It could be religion, it could be culture, it could be language, something which we all share together. And we mentioned at the end of yesterday's lecture, one of the most powerful things which can unite a community is Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Hussain ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. He unites communities. Not just Shia communities, all communities. That's our goal. So we set ourselves a task for today's lecture, which is answering the question, how does Aba Abdullah's suffering unite the communities of this world, the ummah? To do this, inshallah, we have to go through a number of steps. The first one being, what value does Hussain give to suffering? Suffering, imtihan, what is suffering to Hussain? And when we discuss this, we can see that how does Aba Abdullah motivate all of us that when you're suffering, keep suffering. Keep going. How does Hussain motivate us? Okay, those are the two initial questions. Once we see this, we can then look at history and see that throughout history, whenever the Shia have faced any problem, any musibah, any difficulty, they have all united together under Hussein's banner. And once we agree that that's the case, we go through history, we see different cases, we can then use this template for all of humanity. That if we can unify under the banner of Hussein's Azhar, everyone can. And inshallah, at the end of the lecture, we look at Ziyarat Ashura, which teaches us the practical etiquette for using suffering to unite with other human beings, inshallah. Yes, you see our discussion. How does Hussain teach me about suffering? How does Hussain inspire me to keep suffering like he suffered? And then how does, in history, have the Shia continuously suffered for Hussain? And how can all of humanity suffer for Hussain? Inshallah, this is our discussion for today. inshallah, so I know that you are with me and we can welcome the Imam to our gathering, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First step. How does Abu Abdullah teach me about suffering? Yeah? Generally speaking, suffering can cause, it can be very helpful for the soul, suffering. And we have many cases and we don't need to go into detail. For example, fasting in Shahr Ramadan, yeah? It's tough at times, especially the few minutes before Maghrib, it's the toughest. Hunger, thirst, desire for all of these things. But we stop ourselves. We're suffering for what purpose? So that our souls become more disciplined. Agreed. When you give a child an injection, yeah, the child weeps at the injection. Injections hurt, yeah? But we know, people of wisdom, that the child needs the injection, it needs the suffering to be safe after, yeah? Its body is safe. Okay. Salah, Psalm, all of these things require some level of suffering. Khums is suffering. Giving away 1/5 of the wealth that I've earned throughout this year it's not always easy to see that money and see that bank account and see it, lessen in front of your very eyes. But it's worth it because we are purifying our entire wealth. Suffering with a purpose. Okay. All suffering is one of two types. Either it's positive or it's negative. What I just mentioned are positive suffering, yeah? I'm suffering to be close to Allah Azza wa Jal. We have many cases of this. Negative suffering is when I have inflicted upon myself something which is damaging me but not helping me with Allah. Negative suffering like what? I've made myself mubtala in dunya. And this dunya causes me huzn, sadness. It's not taking me to Allah. I'm still suffering but going nowhere. Yeah, it's a positive and negative suffering. For negative suffering, Khalil Ja'far has a really good series on this. Maybe some of you have heard it. The End of Negative Suffering. It's one of those, few lecture series which every mu'min should have in their arsenal. Always ready to help you. Because that series can help us all, inshallah. Positive, negative suffering. Abu Abdullah teaches us the value of positive suffering. Read a salawat, please. The verse of Quran I mentioned, Surah 10, Ala inna awliya Allah. So surely the awliya of Allah, that's who we're speaking about, the ones who are the beloved ones of Allah. That's the target of this verse. فَإِنَّ أَوْلِيَا اللَّهِ, certainly the awliya of Allah, لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ. On a certain day they will have no fear. وَلَهُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ, and they'll have no sadness. So there'll come a day when the people who love Allah have no khawf, no fear whatsoever, and no huzn, no sadness. Now these people spent their entire lives in the state of khawf. And they spent their whole lives in the state of huzn, of sadness. But the day will come when they have none of these things. Why? Because in this dunya they had khawf of Allah and they had sadness of suffering, but when akhirah comes they'll have none of these things, inshallah. Positive, suffering. Okay. Now suffering is imtihan, yeah? Imtihan. You're facing imtihan, suffering. Imtihan comes from imtahana. Imtahana is when, you have gold. When you heat the gold and the impurities fall away and the gold becomes more bright and pure. That's imtahana. And that's also imtihan. When you go through heat and problems, the impurities melt away and you shine in those suffering. This verse is about those people. In this life, they have so much khawf for Allah, they have no khawf after. And in this life, they're heated with such sadness and grief, but because they go through this, they are able to have no sadness after. Yeah, and this applies to Abu Abdullah. I'll give you one narration from our Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, Ya Fatima, sallallahu alayhi, O Fatima, every eye will be weeping on the day of judgment, except the eyes that weep for your son Hussain. For on the day of judgment, those eyes will be laughing. Suffer in this world, eternal felicity in the afterlife. We pray that we can be the people he's describing, inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, suffering can be valuable. Now, for Abu Abdullah, this is true. For Abu Abdullah, yeah? For his suffering, he sees incredible value in his suffering. He's extremely respectful of his situation. Does he complain once? No, not once. In fact, regarding death, he says, when he's told to give bay'ah, he says, the immoral man has given me the option between losing my life and losing my dignity. Wa hayhat. Hayhat min adillah. How can I lose my life, yeah? And how can I lose my dignity? I'd rather lose my life than my dignity. In fact, Abu Abdullah describes death like this. He says that death to me is like the necklace on the neck of a young lady. It beautifies my existence. A young lady might have her certain beauty. A necklace is an additional adornment to it. For Abu Abdullah, he lives the life Allah wants. And Allah adds to him the adornment of a glorious death. This is why he says, I yearn for death like Yaqub yearned for Yusuf. Yeah, yearning for death. We don't have that. In fact, not just Abu Abdullah. Abu Fadl Abbas has this same ishq. Yeah, Abbas says that who are you to scare us with death when we played with death in our youth? What? I'll say it again so you can understand. Abu Fadl Abbas, when he stands on the roof of the Kaaba and he says, the enemy, you try and take the bait of my master Hussain, you try and scare us with death. We who have played with death in our youth fear no one. So, for these people suffering death, it's all worth it. Okay, you're with me so far? The next question is, okay, it's worth it, but they have value to death. How does this help me? Yeah, how can I have value to my suffering? Because I suffer, not like Abu Abdullah, but still I suffer. So what was it all for, Hussain? Why did he go through all of this? He says in one statement, summarizing everything, if the Islamic nation were to be controlled by someone like Yazid, then we must bid farewell to Islam itself. If this nation must be under the control of Yazid, we must bid farewell to the religion itself. Now, a few nights ago, I mentioned a point about Muawiyah and Yazid, alayhimullah. And we mentioned that Abu Abdullah's mission, his suffering, only occurs because of Yazid's characteristics. And I said in the coming few days, I'll explain more. I'll explain now. Muawiyah, Yazid, two dhalim. Yep. Can you tell me who is worse? It's difficult. They're both evil. Muawiyah has a certain type of evil. Yazid has another type of evil. Ayatollah Khomeini says Yazid's evil was crossing a red line which required blood to be sacrificed. And that's why Hussain sacrificed himself. Now, Muawiyah. Muawiyah is a zalim. Agreed? You people of Aqidah. Muawiyah is a zalim? Okay. Muawiyah, he did two things to manipulate deen to protect himself. I need your attention. Two things Muawiyah did. Two tactics. Two strategies Muawiyah used continuously to protect himself and to protect his maqam. The first thing he did was claim that every action he does is okay, is justified, even if it's zulm, because he is divinely guided. You know this idea of Khulafai Rashidun? It didn't come from before, it came from Muawiyah. So whenever Muawiyah did zulm, and they said to him, Ya Muawiyah, you know what you're doing is in direct contradiction to the Holy Prophet. He'd say, Allah has chosen me for this position. So everything I do comes from this maqam. If Allah didn't want it, He would have taken me away. You see the argument? So don't argue with me, argue with Allah. That's the first thing he did. So it's devious, yeah? The second strategy is also devious. Muawiyah gained control of the apparatus of fiqh. Muawiyah gained control of the institution of fiqh in his day. What do we mean? Muawiyah would commit actions, bid'at, yeah? New actions no one had seen before, real sins. But he had with him the faqihs, the ulama, the scholars of his time to write down legal justification for his actions. So he cloaked himself under the name of deen. He's doing zulm. I'll give you two examples. One example. One day Muawiyah is traveling and it's time for salah. Instead of reading salat qasr, he reads full salah when he should do qasr. And he says to them, you know, what I did was correct, write down a reason. And even now you have in the books that sometimes for other madhabs, Salat al-Qasr doesn't apply because Muawiyah set the precedence. Use religion for his deen. Another example. One day Muawiyah wants to do Salat al-Jum'ah on a Wednesday. Jum'ah means Friday. He wants to do it on a Wednesday. So he prays Jum'ah on a Wednesday in the masjid. And he says to them, write some justification for this action. And they wrote some legal reasoning for why Jummah can happen on a Wednesday if the Khalifa orders. Use deen to justify religion. Okay. Yazid was different. Yazid didn't care for deen publicly or privately. Yeah? So Yazid would do open shirk. Disbelieve in Allah openly. Open sins, fasiq. And by virtue of this, he undermined the value of leadership itself. So for Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, if the ummah is left to a person like Yazid, there is no Islam left. At least with Muawiyah we can do sulh and beat him through the peace treaty, but not with Yazid. With Yazid we must fight him. So for Abu Abdullah, what is the only reason that he goes and has suffering? For the sake of the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. The only reason. Read the salawat, please. Okay. This is relevant to us. Why? Ayatollah Mirza Muhammad Taqi makes a really beautiful point I want to mention now. He says that Hussain suffered for his religion. We agree, yeah? He suffered for his deen. Yes. And he says Hussain suffered in truth over one word. And that word was yes. All of Hussein's sufferings is for this one word. What word? Yes. Just give bay'ah. And Agha says, he went through the entire maqtal, the entire book of the tragedy of Hussain, the entire story of Karbala, and he said there was not a single moment in the life of Hussain where if he did not just use this one word, his life would have been saved. Even until the end, he just had to say the word, yes. We today have the same challenge of not having to say yes. How many times are we confronted with opportunities for sin, and our entire struggle is just for the word yes. Don't say yes to that sin. We confront opportunities to follow dunya instead of Allah Azza wa Jal. And it's that same word Hussain suffered for that we must suffer for. Don't say yes, you'll regret it. But while saying salah, please move forward a little bit. People are in the doorway. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A bit more inshallah. Now, inshallah, you're with me, yeah? You're with me? One of the most beautiful things Abu Abdullah does is he does not force any of his companions to suffer for him. He doesn't force them. In fact, in one of his speeches, he says openly, if you value your life, value your wealth, and value your limbs, don't join me. Ya Abu Abdullah, if you value your limbs, don't come with me, for my station is death. He says this when he's near Medina to thousands of people. And after he says this speech, he has hundreds. And as days go by, he has tens. Yeah? If you value your life, or your wealth, or your limbs, don't join me. I'm going towards death. Which is why, tell me any revolution in history where the leader of that revolution told his companions to leave him the night before the revolution. Tell me one. Not Gandhi, not Martin Luther King. None of them. Leave me. I have lifted my oath to you. You will still go to heaven if you walk away from me. Have we ever seen this from any leader? No. Which is why when Sa'id bin Abdullah and Zuhair bin Qayn, the two companions were martyred, whilst defending Hussain in his salah, no one told them to stand up and defend Hussain from the arrows. No one told them. No one told them. But they stood of their own freedom to bear the suffering for Hussain. And so when Zuhair jumps in the way of the arrows in front of Abu Abdullah, that suffering is the suffering of a free man. So for Abu Abdullah, and tomorrow's discussion is on freedom. We'll discuss this topic of freedom more inshallah. For Abu Abdullah, suffering for the deen is the choice of the free. But it must be for the deen. Can't be for anything else, yeah? Hussainu minni wa ana min al-Hussain. Rasulullah says, this means that my deen is from Hussain. One of the interpretations, Rasulullah is saying, my religion is from Hussain. Hussain does everything for deen. In fact, Hudhayfa bin Yaman, one of the companions of the Holy Prophet, we have a narration where he's walking through the streets, and he sees Abu Abdullah as a child, a young child Abu Abdullah, telling the other children about his own musibah of Karbala. He's a child, and he's telling them, Umar ibn Sa'd will be the one who will launch the army against me. So Hudhayfa goes back to the Holy Prophet and says, what is this child saying? Is it true? And Rasulullah says, of course it's true. My ilm is his ilm is my ilm. And we know what happens before it happens. Yeah? So the message, the point here is, suffering for Ahlul Bayt, suffering for Ahlul Bayt, suffering for deen is the only justification, but when it happens, give your entire self for this religion. And Ahlul Bayt expect this of us. It's not something like they suffer, you can suffer. No, they expect us to suffer for the deen of Islam. One narration from Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. This narration should inshallah inspire us. Imam Sadiq is saying, 1400 years ago, that our Shia are more patient than us. Ya Allah, Imam is saying this. Why? He says, when we suffer, we know what's going to happen ahead of us. But our Shia suffer without knowledge of what's happening, and yet still they forbear suffering. More patient than us. Imams don't speak words lightly. So for those who suffer for Ahlul Bayt, for this religion, don't worry. Imam is looking after you. Imam is thinking about you. You're going through hell, keep going. Keep going. Another narration for specifically the people over here from our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet says, the Shia of the Mahdi are the greatest. Why? Because they follow the Imam without having seen him. They suffer for the Imam. It's suffering to wait for the Imam. It pains us. Every morning it pains us. And every night it pains us. But we go through this suffering for Imam. The absence with the Imam. Our Holy Prophet says, they are the greatest. For they've never seen the Imam. They've never met him. But still they're patient for him. Okay. So far, inshallah, we've answered two loose questions. First one being, what is the value of suffering? Hussain says the value of suffering is give yourself entirely. But the second reason, what's the only when? When you're defending the deen. Suffer for this religion. Yeah? And you'll get great things. We have a narration. جاهده نفسهم على قلوبكم تحل قلوبكم الحكمة. The person who struggles against their nafs, Allah gives them wisdom. So Allah will help you on this journey, but you have to do it for Him. Okay. The next point I wanted to mention was that this suffering has helped the Shias throughout history. Throughout history, suffering has helped us. And any time our community is facing damnation or ending, suffering of wilayah of Ali ibn Abi Talib helps us. And the discussion I want to have about this goes to Dua Nudba. Dua Nudba. Please read the salawat. You might not, but I can feel my voice slowly going. So please give me your attention so I don't have to, Khair. Dua Nudba. Dua Nudba to be recited every Friday morning between Fajr and Dhuhr. Choose a time, any time. When I was in Karbala, they recited it. The most beautiful recitation I've ever heard of Dua Nudba is in the Haram of Imam al-Askari in Samarra. Right before Dhuhr, they all read Dua Nudba. Dua Nudba, let me give you a summary of Dua Nudba, and then we go to our discussion. This dua is the history of human society and guidance. This dua is history. It begins from the beginning of creation, the beginning of the plan, and it ends with the Zuhur of Imam al-Qaim al-Hujjah. Allah begins this dua by saying that there is guidance to be had for all humanity. Guidance. And for this guidance, I've sent many prophets. So the dua begins by going through all of the prophets Allah has sent. He says, I sent you Adam, I sent you Noor, I sent you Ibrahim. One I sent who spoke to the flaming bush. One I sent to be in the ship. One I sent who left heaven to earth. And they were all good. Salihan ba'da salih. All of them were upright. All of them were good. And then we say that Allah, then you prepared the ground for Habibika Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Then he prepared the ground for our Holy Prophet. Then he came, and then he established true guidance on this earth. Okay. Then the dua goes through a number of occasions in the life of the Prophet where he made Imam Ali, he announced his wilayah. Man kuntu mawla fahada Ali mawla is in dua nudba. Mawaddata fil qurba in dua nudba. Ali wa shajratun wahid, dua nudba. All of them dua nudba. Proof of wilayah. All of them. But then he says that when the life of the Prophet ended and the wilayah began of Amir al-Mu'mineen, there was great disunity. What's our topic? Imam Hussain and global unity. At this point is when the disunity began. The Holy Prophet has passed away. Imam Ali has become Khalifa after a few years. Here is when we see the real disunity. And the reason given in this dua, one of the reasons, is that Imam al-Hussain, Imam Ali alayhi salam, fought against so many enemies and had such a high maqam that people were jealous of him. Okay. So you've reached the point here, this is where we are in human history. From the beginning of creation until Ali alayhi salam's khilafah. Okay, what happens next? We're discussing unity. غَضَبَّتْ عَلَىٰ عَدَاوَتِهِ. And because of all the dhulm that happened to Ali, all of the people came together to oppress Ali. غَضَبَّتْ عَلَىٰ عَدَاوَتِهِ. Okay. أَقَبَّتْ عَلَىٰ مُنَابَذَتِهِ. And they all attached together in doing bara'ah of Ali. This is when this unity began. Everyone came together to do la'an of Ali, according to Dua Nudba. حَتَّى قَتْلَ النَّاكِثِينَ وَالْقَاسِطِينَ وَالْمَارِقِينَ. Until Ali ibn Abi Talib had to fight against them, because they were attacking him. So they all came together. Khawarij came together, the Khariji. The people who believed that Ali had anything to do with the death of the third Khalifa, they came together. Those who hated Ahlul Bayt Nawasib, they came together. For the first time there was unity, but there was unity against Ali ibn Abi Talib. Okay, they all came together, so he had to fight them, he had to kill them. He had to fight against them. لَمَّا قَضَى نَحْبُ, until the time came when he passed away. وَقَتْلُ الْأَشْقَ الْأَوَّلِينَ قَتْبَ أَشْقَ الْآخِرِينَ, and he was killed by the most detestable one of his generation, Ibn Muljim, la'an upon him, who followed the most detestable ones of the previous generation. We came to this point. Somebody had the audacity to raise their hand against Ali on 21st of Shahr Ramadan. Okay. Lam yamtathal amru Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, completely ignoring the Holy Prophet's order. Order for what? Ayyul hadi ba'd al hadin. His order that he is the hadi, the leader after me. Completely ignoring him. But the dhulm of Ali continues after this. Imam Ali is extremely, ghareeb in his own way. The dhulm carries on against Ali ibn Abi Talib. Al-ummatu mustara'ina maqtih, and the ummah gathered together to fight against Ali. After they've killed him, they ignored him after that. وَمُجْتَمِعَةُ عَلَىٰ قَضِيَةِ رَحِمِهِ, and they came together, mujtami', to cut relations with Ali. Mujtami', they came in one to cut rahm, to cut relation with Ali, which is why Sayyidah Fatima says to Ali ibn Abi Talib, I heard that people don't say salam to you anymore. And he replies, it's worse than that. I say salam and they don't answer. During the life of Ali ibn Abi Talib, they cut relations with him, and after death they cut relations with him. Aqsamu waladi, and they rejected his walaya even after his death. Okay. So at this point, inshallah you're with me, everyone has turned against Ali ibn Abi Talib. They've all come together, mujtami', all in one. Illa qalila, except a few. The few who are the only people in that most darkest of times who stood with the wilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Illa al-qalil, except a few. Mimman wafa li ra'ayati al-haqq fihim, who established and maintained the haqq of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Illa al-qalil, a few. But what happened to these few? What was their punishment for having wilayah of Ali ibn Abi Talib? وَقُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلَ, and some of them were killed just for having wilayah. وَصُبِيَ مَنْ صُبِي, and some of them were imprisoned, taken as captives. وَأُقْسِيَ مَنْ أُقْسِي, and some of them were banished from their land. Yeah? So far we have come to the most difficult time for haqq. Never before has haqq been represented by so few people. The few people who are with Ali ibn Abi Talib. When I read this dua and I think of our topic in unity, when we hear this line, قُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلَ, the few who had walayah, they were killed. My mind goes firstly to Ahlul Bayt, to Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, that he died for walayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. But also to the companions of Ali, the people for whom we have Majlis. Their death preserved Imam Ali alayhi salam's walayah. People like who? People like Misam, the person who waters the tree from which he knows he's going to be hung from, only because his tongue won't stop doing zikr of Ali ibn Abi Talib. We give our lives for Misam. وَقُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلَ, those few, إِلَّا الْقَلِيلِ, those few who were there, people like Misam, people like Ammar, who was killed while fighting alongside Ali ibn Abi Talib. Those few, and not just companions, throughout history, the Shias have always suffered and died for their actions. 6 sons of Sheikh Zakzaki were killed in one day in Zaria, Nigeria. 6 sons in one day, just for having wilayah of Ali ibn Abi Talib. قُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلَ, the few perished. And our ulama as well, how many of our great scholars have been killed just for wilayah? Look at Sayyid Sadiq al-Sadr, rahmatullah alayhi, the great alim of Iraq, who was killed whilst in his car, and they found him sitting at his chair whilst driving, covered in blood. Our scholars, our people. Think of Sheikh Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr, one of our ulama. He was tortured before and after his death. Just because why? Saddam saw in him an ally of Ali ibn Abi Talib and his sister Bint al-Huda. Think of our own shuhada of our community, Shaykh Arif al-Hussaini, Shaykh Arif, Shaykh Sibt Ja'far. These are our people. قُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلَ, killed just for wilayah. وَسُبِيَ مَنْ سُبِي, and there are some who were held captives just for wilayat Ali ibn Abi Talib, imprisoned. Think of awlad of Hussain. after that Sham Ghariba, they are all paraded as if they are people who have been attained through winning a victory against the kuffar, imprisoned, the zindan. Yeah? How many of our great scholars have been imprisoned? How many of our Shias? I think of, for example, Abu Dharr al-Ghafari. Abu Dharr, after the death of Imam al-Mu'mineen, never stopped doing zikr of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So the enemies kept imprisoning him in one prison after the other. But every prison he went to, he shouted the zikr of Ali. So they moved him prison to prison until they banished him. Yeah? So we are meant to be imprisoned. Today, right now, do we know how many of our Shia are currently in a Bahraini prison because they won't stop doing zikr of Ali? Bahrain, do we know how many? In Nigeria, do we know after Zaria, 47 were killed. How many were in prison? We haven't heard about them. And many of the Shias, just for wilayat, were banished. Abu Dharr is one of them, yeah, he was banished. Imam Musa Sadr is one of them. And Musa Sadr, one of our shining lights, 1960s he lived. Imam Musa Sadr was invited by the enemies from Lebanon, where he lived. So he was banished, as in he was told to leave. We still don't know what happened to him. The enemy never gave us a body, but we never saw him again. And they never had his shahadat, had his majlis, his martyrdom, they never had a grave for him, but we don't know what happened to him because he was banished from one place and we never saw him again. We have stories like this of ulama, imprisoned just for wilaya. Yeah, Imam Musa Sadr. Egypt, for example, Ziyad, I don't know, did we mention this point yesterday? I don't know. Ziyad, the companion of Muawiyah, went to Egypt and was given one task by Ziyad: make sure the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib perish. So Ziyad, what did he do? He imprisoned all of the men, Sayyid men, and all the Sayyid women, so the line of Sayyid, the line of Ali, would end in that country, in Egypt. Yeah, Uqsiya man uqsi. So our life, our heritage is built on suffering. And if they suffered for their religion, we suffer for our deen, inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Do you feel the grief that we have for our shuhada, yeah? Like everything we have is from them. This majlis, everything. And they died for wilaya. So how can we be comfortable and not suffer for this same wilaya? Okay. Now, as well as wilaya of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Shia should unify and teach humanity to unify under the Aza of Hussain al-Shaheed bi Karbala. Azadari. Azadari unites everyone. Why? Because Azadari occurred even when it seemed impossible. When the entire Muslim world had majlises in taqiyya. The whole Muslim world. Majlis how? In secret. No one knew. Even today there are some countries where you can't have majlis publicly, yeah? Because the government is watching. You can't do it. And today we have, because of them, the barakah of a majlis in public in London in 2018. Great blessing. Let me tell you one time when, from my understanding of history, the Shias faced the worst condition, but Azadari saved them. And that was during the time of Banu Abbas. Read a salawat, please. One of the worst zalim against Ahlul Bayt is Al-Mutawakkil. La'an upon him. Mutawakkil. Now, we have many enemies in Banu Abbas of Ahlul Bayt. Many enemies. Mutawakkil was in some ways different, the scholars say. How? Enemies of Ahlul Bayt, why Banu Abbas? Because there were challenges to them. Yeah, Banu Abbas claimed to be the true party of Ali ibn Abi Talib, of Bani Hashim, and here you have a bunch of Shia who reject them. So they had enmity because they challenged them. Not Mutawakkil. Mutawakkil's hatred came from genuine hatred for Amir al-Mu'mineen. Like real hatred. Not because he's threatening his power, because he hated the personality of Ali and the personality of the followers of Ali. Mutawakkil. In fact, there's one story, I think it's Mutawakkil, where he said openly, clear Karbala in 2 hours, or whoever's left in the haram, I will flatten them and the shrine of Hussain. Mutawakkil, okay. He did this, by the way. Mutawakkil, what he did was, what we have in our history, that he completely destroyed the Zari of Hussain. Completely. The Zari today, where 25 million people are doing pilgrimage to, he destroyed it. The narrations say that not only did he flatten and he ploughed up the grave, he dug up all of the foundations, he flooded it and he dug a ditch around it. And he took away all of the signs of Abu Abdullah's grave. But still, the narrations say, Abu Faraj says, when Mutawakkil destroyed the haram of Hussain, more Shias flocked to Karbala like birds flock together in one direction. Because we Shia, the more you kill us, the more we live. Yeah? In fact, someone came into Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam. And they said, the enemy has closed off the shrine of Hussain. What do we do? Muhammad said, are you afraid? They said, yes, we have fear. He said, the more fear you have, the more the reward for visiting Hussain. So for those of you, inshallah, planning for ziyarah, don't for a second think I can't go because it's too dangerous. It was more dangerous. Imam said, the more you have fear, the more your level. Okay. One story about this. So this is the grave of Hussain, yeah? How does Azadari give us strength? We have a companion, or we have a Shia by the name of Muhammad al-Ashnani. Muhammad al-Ashnani lives in the time of Al-Mutawakkil. He knows what's happened to the grave, but still his heart wants to visit Karbala. He wants to visit still. Okay. He takes a companion of his, a friend of his, who's a perfume seller, and they leave for Karbala, together alone. Now, they only travel by night. Yeah, because Mutawakkil had military garrisons and outposts surrounding Karbala. And if any of the army of Banu Abbas saw you visiting ziyarah, either they would torture you or they would kill you. So Muhammad al-Ashnani goes at night. Both of them together. They reach Al-Ghadiriyah. Ghadiriyah is the province just outside Karbala. They reach. And they see that there are two military outposts right in front of them. In the dead of night, they together quietly sneak in between the two of them. And they get into the province of Karbala. Okay. Once they're there, they see no shrine, no haram, no zari, nothing. All they see is that in front of them, in the middle of the desert, some of the ground has been dug into a ditch. And that ditch has filled with water. It's become flooded. Muhammad al-Ashnani goes there. He bends down onto the ground, onto the sand, and he smells the earth. And he smells the fragrance of the body of Hussain under the ground. He brings his friend, and his friend who sells perfume says, I have never smelled a fragrance like this. Think of the khawf they're doing ziyarah in. They do their ziyarah, they leave certain signs, and they leave. They go away from there. A few years later, when Mutawakkil is killed, when he's deposed, in fact he is killed, they return to Karbala, to that land where the signs were, and they rebuild the zari of Hussain. And every generation has preserved that zari until today. The zari of Hussain today lives because of those companions' preservation of Abu Abdullah's tomb. So for them, read Salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Now, Azadari unites us all because so much suffering has gone into this institution of Azadari. And it's for everyone, not just us, everyone. Our fifth Imam would say, this is why it's universal for all societies, he would say that when I go to Hajj, or even when I'm not at Hajj, appoint someone to recite Masa'ib of Hussain at Mina. And he paid in one advance for 10 years. Appoint someone to stand at Mina and do Musibah. Why? Because as Rasulullah himself used to speak at Makkah, over there, the whole world does pilgrimage. So the whole world is coming for Hajj, and the whole world is hearing the Musibah of Hussain. In fact, when our Imam returns, inshallah, Imam al-Qaim al-Asr wa Zaman, the first thing he says to all of humanity, the first public announcement, he goes to Makkah, between the Rukn and al-Maqam, he says, Ya Ahl al-Alam, Ana al-Imam al-Qaim, I am the Imam al-Qaim, Ya Ahl al-Alam, Ana Jadd al-Hussain Mazloom Karbala. The first thing to all of humanity, I am the grandson of Hussain who was Mazloom al-Karbala, wa Ana Jadd al-Hussain Atshan bi Karbala. And Hussain, who had Uryan, Hussain whose body had been looted in Karbala. The first thing, Ya Ahl al-Alam, all people. So, Azadari is not something just for us, it's for everyone. Everyone, universal. All societies can unite under the suffering. In fact, one of our scholars, Hajj Mirza Noori, writes in one of his books, Lu'lu' wal Marjan, he writes that make sure when you gather for Majlis, don't do tahrif, don't add anything or take anything away from the musibah. Don't add or take away. Why? He says this musibah is universal the way it is. The way it is. Don't add anything or take anything away, because you want to, and don't give an excuse for anyone to blame you and blame your history that you can't keep account of the musibah of Hussain. The way it is, it's fine. Let it enter people's hearts the way it is. So, we unify under the suffering of Hussain. How? Final question, we go to Ziyad Ashura, and then we're done. How do we unify? There are certain etiquettes and guidances for how we use this dhulm that happened to Hussain to be closer to each other and to our Imam. Please read one Salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Last point, then Musibah, inshallah. We say in Ziyad Ashura, Ya Aba Abdullah. Oh Aba Abdullah, Ya Aba Abdullah. Inni ataqarrabu ila Allahi wa ila Rasulih. I want to be close, qurb, to Allah and to the Rasul. I'm saying to Hussain, yeah? Allah and Rasul. وَإِلَىٰ أَمِيرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَإِلَىٰ فَاطِمَةَ. And I want to be close to Amir al-Mu'mineen and Fatima. وَإِلَىٰ الْحَسَنِ and to Hassan. وَإِلَيْكَ بِمَوَالَاتِكَ. And to you. Now this word mawalatika. To you I give loyalty. Mawalat is not just loyalty or love, it's mutual love. So we're saying, Ya Abu Abdullah, I go to you, take me to Allah and to the Prophet, to Imam Ali, to Sayyidah Fatima, to Hassan and to you, and let me have mawalat. Mutual love. Yeah, so I'm not just having love for you and I go home to for my majlis. No, continuous. So this is why someone may say to you, you know what? You started fine. Ya Abu Abdullah, inni ataqarrabu ila Allah. I want to be close to Allah. Why mention Muhammad and Ali and Fatima, Hassan, Hussain? You want mawalat, yeah? Why? The person might say that, you know, for example, we have the narration, Awwalana Muhammad, Awsatana Muhammad, Akhira Muhammad, Kulluna Muhammad, yeah? And the Prophet, you know, we are all Muhammad, and Imam Ali also says, وَلَا تَفَرِّقُ بَيْنَا. And don't differentiate between us. We are all one. So why mention the names of all Ahlul Bayt when all you want is qurb with Allah? Because mawalat is love. And when you love someone, you mention different names of theirs. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Ghafoor, Ya Kareem, Ya Muqallib al-Quloob. The beautiful asma of Allah, names of Allah. Ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram. These are like great names. Ahlul Bayt are the names to Allah. So if you want to go close to Allah, you must understand and unify with them. Inshallah, if you do this. But if you do this, that's not enough. Very important point. Even if you follow what I just said, Allah, I want to be close to you, and close to your Ahlul Bayt, close to your family, that's insufficient. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, the person who declares love for us, but does not disassociate from our enemies, has lied. Don't just declare love for us, move away from our enemies. And so that's why the ziyarah continues. We didn't just stop there. وَبِالْبَرَاءَةِ مِنْ أَسَّسَ أَسَاسَ ظُلْمِ وَالْجَوْرِ عَلَيْكُمْ. And I disassociate myself from those who did dhulm and laid the foundations for dhulm. We mentioned this yesterday, I won't go into detail. وَالْبَرَاءَةِ إِلَى اللَّهِ إِلَى رَسُولِهِ وَمِمَّنْ أَسَاسَ أَسَاسَ ذَلِكَ وَبَنَا عَلَيْهِ بُنْيَانٍ. We disassociate ourselves, we detach ourselves from those people who established the foundation for dhulm to you, Hussain. وَجَرَى فِي ظُلْمِ وَجَوْرِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَلَا أَشْيَائِكُمْ. And we do la'an from those people who continue to oppress your Shia. Yeah. Why? Shia suffering, I want to unite with their suffering. This is why it's really important to mention the zalim by name. Not just zalim awla akhira. Mention them by name. In Ziyad Ashra later we say, Allahumma la'an Abu Sufyan wa Muawiyah wa Yazid ibn Muawiyah alayhim minka la'natu abad al-abidin. Continuous, endless la'ana upon them. Why? And this line is painful for the Shia and the crier for Hussain. وَهَذَا يَوْمٌ فَرِحَتْ. Today is a day of joy for them. فَرِحَتْ آل زِيَادْ وَآل مَرْوَانِ. Why are they happy today? Why are they joyful on this day? بِقَتْلِهِمُ الْحُسَيْنِ. Because they killed Hussain. Because of the suffering they have done, we have inflicted, they feel happy on this day. Salawatullahi alayhi. Allahumma fadif alayhim la'ana minka wal adhab al-alim. Ya Allah, pour frequent la'an on them. Continuous la'an and double the la'an. Now, here's a question, a really important question. Mention them by name, fine. Muawiyah is dead. Alhamdulillah, many of us have seen the joke of a grave that he has. Yeah? Abu Sufyan, who even knows where Abu Sufyan is? Marwan, Ali Marwan, Ali Ziyad, they're gone. Why do we still do la'an upon them? Why? One reason, maqam increases. Other important reason, ulama argue, when you mention an enemy by name and do la'an of them by name, you are doing la'an of those qualities which defined them. And be wary, for those qualities could manifest in a fraction of your actions. So when we do la'an of the enemies, we're doing la'an of them all. For example, Banu Umayyah, which we'll mention tomorrow in the la'an. La'an of Banu Umayyah is not just la'an of the people of awlad of Umayyah. It's la'an of those who have actions of an Umayyad. Tomorrow we'll discuss this. Today, la'an upon Al Ziyad, Al Marwan. Why do you mention these names? Because these names represent very specific sins which could hurt us. For example, Ziyad. Ziyad represents sin because he was born of adultery. Also, Ziyad, we mentioned that what he did to the Shias of Egypt. Yeah, he separated them. Ziyad represents intolerance. La'an of Al Ziyad, la'an to the people who are intolerant. Marwan ibn Hakam, la'an upon him. Why do you mention his name? Because he represents a certain sin. Which sin does he represent? Abu Abdullah said, Marwan, you are rijs. You are impurity. You're not impure, you are impurity. وَأَنَا وَحُنَا, we are the one for whom the verse came, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. We are the ones whom Allah has removed all rijs from. So do bay'ah to us, not to you. Yeah? So he represents all of impurity which we could have in ourselves. Marwan represents, the word Ali Marwan represents all impurity. And the final verse I'll mention on Ziyad al-Shah, which we say, we use all of this discussion for this aim. وَأَصْلُهُ أَن يُبَلِّغَنِ الْمَقَامُ الْمَحْمُودُ لَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. Allah, because of all of this, give me that praiseworthy maqam with you that Hussain has with you. What have I done? I've mentioned an entire ziyarah where I've said Hussain suffered, his Shia suffered, his awlad suffered, and his 72 martyrs suffered. And because of I have just mentioned the dhikr of their suffering, raise my elevation. I come with nothing except my sins, but at least I mention the suffering on Hussain. And so the verse of Ziyad al-Shah says, if you mention, just do dhikr of dhikr meaning remembrance, of Abu Abdullah's suffering, Allah will raise you inshallah to Maqam al-Mahmud. The great lofty plane. Mahmud is a name which Allah loves so much, He gave Muhammad a name from Mahmud. And this maqam is when Quran says, if you spend your nights in prayer, you may have maqam al-mahmud. In Ziyad al-Shah we read, if you mourn for Abu Abdullah, if you suffer for him, you will unite with Ahlul Bayt in maqam mahmud inshallah. That ends our discussion. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So in today's lecture, what have we found? We need common goals to unify for Ahlul Bayt, for our community. We need common goals. And one of the most powerful goals we can have is suffering for Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. But we must not restrict this suffering just to us. Every community deserves to suffer for Hussain. Every community. Now tomorrow we'll see inshallah how every community can suffer for Hussain if they have freedom. For no one should be forced to suffer or forced for have deen, or you can't even force unity. Unity only comes with freedom, which is what Abu Abdullah himself says. I have not set out. Abu Abdullah himself says that even if you have no deen and you have no fear of akhirah, at least be free in this world. In tomorrow's lecture we'll see how this line is closely linked to unity inshallah of the whole globe inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let us now inshallah return to the musibah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain inshallah. Ya Abu Abdullah. These ayam, we have a special person to mourn for every day. Different members of Ahlul Bayt. And as you know, the ashab of Hussain all were martyred before the awlad of Hussain. And we are coming to those days where we remember the family of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, awlad of Hussain. The Hazi of this Majlis usually mourn for Abu Fadl Abbas on this day, as well as 8th Muharram, Ya Abbas. Abu Fadl Abbas has an extremely special relationship with Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Abbas and Hussain. All you need Abbas and Hussain. For when the time came of the will of Amir al-Mu'mineen when he was passing away, and he brought every family member towards him and put their hands in the hand of Hassan al-Mujtaba. All of them. And you know that he didn't call Abbas. The narration of Abu Fadl Abbas is sitting outside weeping that his father has not called him. Ya Abbas. I often think when Abbas is sitting there, what is he thinking? Does he think that he has done something wrong? That he's not been called to give bay'ah? Every brother except him. Everyone. Al-Baneen starts weeping. She says, oh my master Ali, why you don't call Abbas? He is crying outside. Ali said, bring me my Abbas. Bring him to me. And he takes the arm of Abbas. Which arm? The arm of Abbas which holds the flag of Hussain on Ashura. He takes the arm of Abbas and he says, Abbas, I give you in bay'ah to Hussain. And he puts his hand in the hand of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. And he says, we have the narrations, your job, you are like the hands, Hussain is like the eyes. Protect Hussain for your entire life. From this moment, Hussain and Abbas are always together. Abu Fadl Abbas never calls Imam Hussain anything except Abu Abdullah. Never brother. Because of this, Abbas also has a special relationship with Sayyidah Zainab. Zainab and Abbas, yeah? The narration says that for as long as Abbas was alive, Zainab had some itminan in her heart. That no matter what happens, at least we have Abbas. Zainab and Abbas. But Imam Hussain always had Abbas with him, continuously. In fact, on the day of Ashura, Abbas is standing next to Hussain on his horse as they're fighting the enemy. Zuhair on one side, Habib on the other side, Abbas with Hussain. One narration says, a strange narration, inshallah you think about this. Abu Abdullah is with Hussain. Hussain says, let's ride to Furat and see what the condition is there. They ride together. The armies are still fighting. As they ride, the enemies say, do not approach the water, it is haram for you. One narration says, one of them fires an arrow and it hits Abu Abdullah in the chin. Ya Hussain. As the arrow hits him, blood starts to gush from the chin of Hussain. But one narration says Hussain takes out this arrow and blood pours in front of him. Another narration says Abbas takes the arrow out of the face of Hussain. Ya Abu Fadl Abbas. Abbas himself, while he is alive with his arms, pulls the arrow out of the face of Abu Abdullah and he takes the blood from him. Ya Abu Fadl Abbas. And on the day of Ashura, Abbas is continuously with him, Imam Hussain. Many people say Abbas keeps asking Hussain, please let me fight, please let me fight. According to the books, Abbas only asks it twice. Only twice. At the beginning and at the end. At the beginning, Abbas says, Ya Abu Abdullah Hussain, please give me permission to fight and die for you. One time Hussain says, Abbas, no. You will stay with me. For I need you. You are the strength of my back. Ya Abu Fadl Abbas. You are the strength of my back, Abbas, I cannot leave you. Now, from this moment, Abbas does not leave Hussain, not once. Hussain collects everybody, Abbas helps him bringing back each companion. But Abbas just looks at Hussain to show him, I am still here. He doesn't ask him, he just looks at him. Abbas doesn't need to ask Hussain anything. He just shows him his face. Ya Abbas. When they bring back the body of Ali al-Akbar, he carries the body with him and he just looks at Hussain. Hussain looks at Abbas and says, no, Abbas. They continue. Now, Abu Fadl Abbas, again, he doesn't know where to go. He can't fight. He sees his family martyred in front of him. And he can't sit still, Abbas. So he keeps going to Zainab, continuously. But when he goes to Zainab, his head is always bent low. For he is thinking, how can I be alive whilst Zainab is in this halat? But I think that Abbas stops going to Zainab the moment On and Muhammad have been shaheed. The moment they mention it, how can Abbas look at Zainab when her own sons have died before him? Ya Abbas. The narration say Abbas himself trained On and Muhammad to fight. And the narration say Abbas raised On and put him on his horse. And Abbas raised Muhammad and put him on his horse and he watched them go. This line gets me. As Abbas is watching, when On says, I am On, the son of Ja'far al-Tayyar, whose arms were cut and whose flew like wings in the sky. Abbas is watching him saying these words. Ya Abu Fadl Abbas. And Muhammad is with him. And they come back. Each one goes, each one comes back. Abbas is patient. Sabir Abbas. Until the time comes when Abbas is with Hussain. In front of him is the body of Ali al-Akbar. The wound of an arrow is on the chest of this body. Ya Abbas. And next to the body, there is an Abba. And on the Abba are the remains of the body of Qasim. Ya Abbas. And beside this Abba is the body of On and Muhammad. Ya Abbas. And behind them are the body of all the Ashab. And Hussain says to him, look at what has happened. Abbas says, Hussain, Abu Abdullah, give me permission to fight. Please, now give me permission. Second time he asks. Hussain says, how can I give you permission? You are the commander of my army, Abbas. How can I give you permission? Abbas replies, Abu Abdullah, which army do you speak of? For from Zuhr until Asr, every single one of your companions has been martyred. And every single one of your children has been martyred in front of you. Which army do I protect? So Abbas returns and he comes back and says, oh Abu Abdullah, oh my master Hussain, allow me to get water for Sakina. Ya Abbas, Ya Abu Fadl Abbas. Hussain allows him. Finally, two things I always wonder. How does Hussain watch Abbas ride away from him? When Ali Akbar rides away, Hussain follows him. He can't stop. Ali Akbar says, my father, why are you following me? Hussain says, when you have a son like Ali Akbar, you'll realize. It's hard for Hussain to let Ali Akbar go. And when Qasim goes, Hussein is very bechain because this is the son of Hassan. So how does he watch his strength? Abbas rides away from him. As Abbas rides away from Hussein, Hussein is doing dua to Allah. Ya Allah. I won't mention the musibah of Abbas. I won't mention it today. 8th Muharram inshallah. All we know is Hussein is waiting, Sakina is waiting, Zainab is waiting for Abu Fadl Abbas. Ya Zainab. As she's waiting, when Hussein goes, she's waiting, Hussein comes back alone. Now listen inshallah. Abu Abdul al-Hussein, the narrations say, when he returns from Abu Fadl Abbas, he's walking very slow and he keeps stumbling. Ya Abu Abdullah. He keeps falling to the ground. And the narration says, Imam al-Hussein, he keeps weeping and he can't stop crying, so he wipes his face on his cloth to wipe the tears away so he can see where he's walking. As he's walking, Zainab sees he's alone and she says, Hussein, wa wayla, Abbas has left us. And then she says, Abu Abdullah, I have a request for you. I was told that there will come a time when my hijab will be pulled from my head. And I was told there will be a time when they will beat my body. And I was told there will be a time when they would slap the face of Awlad of Zahra. I never believed them. But now I see you returning. Your back is broken, Abu Abdullah. And now there is no Abbas. I know that if there is no Abbas, the enemy are going to come for me in a few hours. Ya Zainab, Ya Zainab. And this is why when the head of Abu Fadl Abbas comes, after everything, the head of Abu Fadl Abbas, after he has been martyred, the eyes are closed off this head. Why? Because Abbas, even after death, can't open his eyes to see the bruises on the body of Zainab. Even after his death, the eyes are closed. In one eye there is a wound from the arrow, and the other eye always remains closed. And they hug the head of Abu Abdullah, of Abu Fadl Abbas. And then the narrations say, all of the ladies stand, for the head of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein has come. Ya Abu Abdullah, that Hussein, that head of that Hussein whom Rasulullah used to kiss the head of this Hussein. And the head of that Hussein who Zahra would hold the head of that Hussein. The head of that Hussein who Hassan would look at that head. The head of that Hussein who the enemy has been playing with the teeth of the head of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. When this head comes, Zainab raises it and hugs it and says, now I will mourn for my Abu Abdullah. Now I will mourn for Hussein ibn Ali. Inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ridha wa qadahi wa tasliman bi amri. May Allah bihaqqi Abbas forgive us for all of our sins, inshallah. May Allah make us like Abbas was for Hussein, for our Imam al-Qaim, inshallah. And we pray, inshallah, for these tears from this majlis to hasten the reappearance of Imam al-Hujjah al-Qaim, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah. Matam ya Hussein.
अब्बास तेरा हक है ज़माना तुझे रोए अब्बास तेरा हक है ज़माना तुझे रोए जब शाम ओ सहर फातिमा ज़हरा तुझे रोए अब्बास तेरा हक है ज़माना तुझे रोए है अब्बास दुर्रा सितमगार खड़ा है दुर्रा लिए पहरे पे ستمگار کھڑا ہے. کیسے تیرے لاشے پہ سکینہ تجھے روئے, کیسے تیرے لاشے پہ سکینہ تجھے روئے. عباس تیرا حق تجھے روئے, عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے. جس وقت اٹھایا نہ گیا لاشا جواں کا, جس وقت اٹھایا نہ گیا لاشا جواں کا, شہ اس گھڑی اکبر سے زیادہ تجھے روئے, شہ اس گھڑی اکبر سے زیادہ تجھے روئے. عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے, عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے. زینب نے کہا شام غریبا میں غازی, زینب نے کہا شام غریبا میں غازی, بے پردہ مجھے دیکھ کے بابا تجھے روئے, بے پردہ مجھے دیکھ کے بابا تجھے روئے. عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے, عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے. سجدے کے لیے جب لیا ہاتھوں کا سہارا, سجدے کے لیے جب لیا ہاتھوں کا سہارا, تو سجاد مصلی تجھے روئے, تو سجاد مصلی پہ ہمیشہ تجھے روئے. عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے, ہے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے. مشکیزہ کہیں جسم کہیں ہاتھ کہیں ہے, مشکیزہ کہیں جسم کہیں ہاتھ کہیں ہے. جا جا کے کہا فاطمہ زہرا تجھے روئے, جا جا کے کہا فاطمہ زہرا تجھے روئے. عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے, عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے. بن ہاتھ کے کس طرح تو گھوڑے سے گرا تھا, بن ہاتھ کے کس طرح تو گھوڑے سے گرا تھا. یہ سن کے بہت اہل مدینہ تجھے روئے, یہ سن کے بہت اہل مدینہ تجھے روئے. عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے, عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے. ارمان سکینہ کا تھا جتنا تجھے روتی, ارمان سکینہ کا تھا جتنا تجھے روتی. سجاد تیری قبر پہ اتنا تجھے روئے, سجاد تیری قبر پہ اتنا تجھے روئے. عباس سے تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے ہاشم کا قمر کیوں نہ تیرا چاہنے والا ہاشم کا قمر کیوں نہ تیرا چاہنے والا وشمس کے پڑھتے ہوئے سورہ تجھے روئے وشمس کے پڑھتے ہوئے سورہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے عباس تیرا حق ہے زمانہ تجھے روئے یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین ہے قاسم 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 خیری بن کر پابند رسن لاشوں سے جو گزرے اہل حرم ہر بی بی اپنے پیاروں سے ہوتی تھی ودا کر کے ماتم ایک بی بی فاطمہ بنت حسن پامال بدن قاسم کی بہن کسی ایک جا سے رخصت نہ ہوئی کسی ایک جا سے رخصت نہ ہوئی ٹکڑوں میں جو تھا بھائی کا بدن کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی صحرا دیکھ کے روتی تھی کبھی غش کھا کے گر جاتی تھی کبھی صحرا دیکھ کے روتی تھی کبھی غش کھا کے گر جاتی تھی پامال ہوا تھا بھائی جہاں پامال ہوا تھا بھائی جہاں اس خون پہ گر کر ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کس شان سے تم دولہا بنے کس شان سے تھی بارات چلی کس شان سے تم دولہا بنے کس شان سے تھی بارات چلی بیٹھی رہی دلہن حجرے میں بیٹھی رہی دلہن حجرے میں آئے نہ پلٹ کر ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم سنوراز نائی کرب و بلا تو بانج کفن میں بانج رضا سنوراز نائی کرب و بلا تو بانج کفن میں بانج رضا تیرے قتل دے بعد لئی نانے تیرے قتل دے بعد لئی نانے میری لٹ گئی چادر ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم فروان نے کہا بیٹا قاسم کہہ دینا دادی زہرا سے فروان نے کہا بیٹا قاسم کہہ دینا دادی زہرا سے غربت کی کمائی ٹکڑوں میں غربت کی کمائی ٹکڑوں میں بھیجی ہے سجا کر ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم کبھی اس ٹکڑے پر ہے قاسم یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
متوجه زيارة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا سيد المسيين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا أم البنين أم كعب الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام على إمام حسن بن علي المجتبى وارث أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر اللحد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبو الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع لله ولرسوله، السلام عليك يا أفضل الشهداء، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على علي بن الحسين زين العابدين ومحمد بن علي الباقر وجعفر بن محمد الصادق وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم وعلي بن موسى الرضا ومحمد بن علي الجواد وعلي بن محمد الهادي والحسن بن علي العسكري والحجة القائم المنتظر المهدي. سيدي أجعل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك، اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه وأتباعه وشيته والرازين بفعله والذابين عنه والمستشهدين بين يديك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.